Magical Minds, one of the best events in Grand Summoners, hands down. If this is your first time playing Minds, you're in luck. You can obtain a lot of gems, depending on how deep you go. Why is this one of the best events in Grand Summoners? Well, it's fun. You practically try to move all the bosses, create different team compositions, and earn rewards. Lots of rewards. Unlike DOT, this mode comes once a year. So here are some of the things you should be doing before the event ends. Before you even do anything in Magical Minds, go to units. Support unit, change this unit to someone people will actually use. Make sure you put equipments on them too. I see so many people disregarding equipments. That's probably why you're never getting picked. You get potions for this. If you don't know who to put, I got you. Here's a list of units you should consider having as your support unit. Summer Miyu for fast farming. Sunraku, here's a tip. If you have Goblin Slayer's equipment, players will pick you more. Ren and Luvia for burn. Valentine Priscilla, one of our top healers. Delta. J for fast farming. Ultimate Convenient Roy. Shiro Hoka Beta over Saturated War God Finn. Heart. Valdor for flinch resistance and for Geozagnis. Mako Priestess. Shuna. Ainz for burn. Shizu for burn. Demon Lord Rimuru and Shadow. Let me know if I'm missing someone. If you don't have these units, put someone strong and use the tips I'll be sharing with you in this video. Kenshin though, I'm assuming he's going to be good at later stages. And Saito, I don't have him, so I don't know. Let me know if he's good in Minds. And if he is, why isn't anyone putting him on support units? Sanosuke, I'm thinking he'll be good for deeper floors and flinch resistance. Once you get around floor 50 and higher, you'll need to prepare your team compositions to have a healer, art generator, DPS unit, and a tank. If you want to know some of my favorite units to use in Magical Minds, it's Priestess Mako Heart, Summer Miyu. I use 2 Summer Miyus if I get the opportunity. J Beta and Demon Lord Rimuru. It'd be great if you guys have Lifesteal or True Exceed on them. Do you guys know how you'll be getting gems from Magical Minds? It's this right here, the boss list. For each floor or highest floor you beat, you gain rewards from the depth bonus. When you start, you'll be presented with a boss page. This provides you with information on each boss. You can get additional information on how to beat the boss by clicking the details button. You can also do a practice run if you want. For each win, you obtain points to increase your grade. This allows you to climb up on floors, or down in this case. Forts gathered are bonus rewards you get for each win. Depending on how fast you beat the floor, you get more. If you die during the stage, you lose some of your grade gauge. Here's a tip. If you're going to lose, go to the menu and quit instead. That way you don't lose that much point compared to dying. If you can't beat a boss, enter the boss fight and quit too, giving you the opportunity to fight a different boss. When you go mining, you're presented with a support unit. Here, you'll have to pick one unit. Most of the units are random, but you'll see a lot of your friends list here, which can help you throughout the event. So friends kind of matter as you go further. If you're wondering what the B stands for, it's basement. The lower you go on each floor, the stronger the boss and monster gets. You can always change floors if you want to. Note that it's in increments of 5. After each jump, you'll be presented with a time limit before you can jump again. And lure waves, you get these by progressing throughout the game mode defeating bosses. This allows you to encounter the desired boss you want to farm for 10 minutes when you activate this. If you guys are enjoying the video, hit that thumbs up button. By doing this simple click, it helps this video to reach more Grand Summoner gamers. So help out the channel. This is your community. Which equipment should you be farming during Magical Minds? FYI, most of the equipments have some sort of negative aspect to them. Keep this in mind, but these negatives you can bypass with proper team setups. Our first equipment is Hatred Claw Grief, obtainable from Subject B3, which this equipment is highly sought for during Minds, and for good reasons. Although this equipment reduces your max HP by 25% for each use, it's really beneficial. For one, it increases your attack by 30% and provides you with 2 arts for 10 seconds. But it's only good if it's max LB'd. Then its cooldown time is 10 seconds. What does this mean? You're going to continuously get 2 arts per second and increase your attack. as long as you're popping this constantly. Just make sure you have a healer to keep you alive. Shrieking Claw Despair is also good, provided you have a taunt tank active. At the cost of 30% of your max HP, you reduce enemies' physical resistance by 10% for 30 seconds, which this stacks. You should know by now that anything that stacks is a good thing, and like its original version, it has a 10-second CT. Be careful when you use this item though. You can obtain this equipment from Omega B3, Blaze Coil Annulus, obtainable from Garm. 3,300% fire damage. Nothing special, right? Let me show you its ability. If you don't need to break the boss, this equipment is good to have. It decreases your break power by 100% down, but increases physical damage up by 25%. So equipping this increases your physical damage. Dignified Silence, obtainable from Palamicia, reduces your own art gauge by 50 and increases all allies' arts by 50 except your own. This doesn't sound too good, but hear me out. It's a 4-star equip for 1. Let's say at the start of the quest you don't have any arts. Use this bad boy and help the team gain 50 arts. If you do start with Archon, wait until you use it, then use this bad boy. Fortress Armor Geoplate is a decent equipment as well. At the cost of 3% max HP, you increase damage and water damage by 20%. Obtainable from Magnus. This equipment is good to use with water units, of course. Divine Arachnid Tears. This equipment is a must-have if you have Summer Luvia and Ren. At the cost of 99% HP, you increase target's art gauge by 120. This allows Luvia and Ren to activate her passive quickly, allowing the team to get a burst of 200 arts instantly. This equipment is obtainable from Omega Redacne. There are more equipments out there, and some of them are on part 2 of the event, so do your own homework. Veterans out there, what am I missing? Let me know in the comments. Also, subscribe to the channel for more Grand Summoners content if you're not subbed already. I got you on anything you need Grand Summoners. Or leave a comment. I read and reply to all the comments. Alright guys, I did 7 hours of live stream to try and get footage for all the bosses. Then I realized during the making of this video that bosses are put in 2 parts of the mine event. Since we're on the live stream subject, stop by and say hi when I'm on. Ask questions if you need help or get to know me. People in chat are awesome too. They sometimes confuse me though, making me think they're talking to me, but they're actually talking to each other, which is cool, and I like that. I read all the messages in chat too, and I try to answer everyone. Just a friendly reminder, you can become a member of the channel by clicking the join button. You'll get exclusive emotes, loyalty badge, member shoutouts, member live only chat, prioritize members farming with me, and more to come. I'll be asking members what they would like me to add as another perk. It's like buying me a cup of coffee, so support the channel if you can. If not, you being here is good enough. No pressure. Keep in mind the majority of the bosses can be nuked. Last year, Magnus was the most hated boss, which he is candy now. Then they provide us with this year's most hated boss, Stiria. Now that I think about it, it's easier to farm bosses now that they are split into 2 parts. Who would have ever thought this? Before we move on, you should know that there are 2 versions of the same boss. For example, there's Stiria, the original version, and there's the Omega Stiria version. Every Omega boss should be stronger, so if you hear Omega, that's what I'm referring to. Stiria is a water elemental boss that inflicts frozen to your unit. As time goes by, her freezing mechanic stacks, so having multiple resistance helps to an extent. On top of that, she has the ability to inflict a set amount of damage to you, which depends on which floor you're in. The higher the floor, the higher the damage. This boss takes more damage during break, but if she's not inflicted with burn or disease, she won't take any break damage. Or you can just power through this boss. Update for this boss. I'm on floor 80 now, and this boss is a headache. You'll need a healer to make sure your HP is high enough to withstand her high damage when it's unleashed. And if you don't have an ascended taunt tank like me, you're going to struggle against this boss. I had 3 teams for you guys, but in later stages, they become irrelevant. Units that are good here are Moldora for his flinch resistance, Human Rimuru, Heart for his healing and HP increase, Arthur Pentagon if you choose to go through the breaking route, and Kirisame. If you have Kirisame, this stage becomes quite easy. Wait, you can use Miranda for her flinch resistance from her true weapon as well, but I don't have that, and I'm not going to spend 30 rainbow gems for it. Let me know your team composition for this boss in the comments. It'll help me and others who come across this video. Before we move on, let me teach you a trick that will save you time and effort. Go to your past parties to see your last successful team composition used. You will not have this option unless you've beaten the stage. This allows you to copy and paste units and equipments you last used. Degilmagna is a fire elemental dragon boss that relies on feint. This boss is probably the easiest one to nuke. He does have crit damage in his kit, but you don't have anything to worry about if you have a strong DPS unit. If you obtained War God Finn, you should be good. Just make sure you have art generators with you. On the later stages though, this guy hits hard, but if you nuke him, it's still easy. He doesn't have anything special in his kit for you to worry about. Oldeus, a dark elemental boss that you'll want to nuke as well. Beware, if he hits you, he has a chance to put curse on your unit. He also has physical resistance, so it's ideal to bring a magic damage dealer. Demon Lord Rimuru is perfect here. As you get to higher floors, he will only take magic damage and a cleansing unit will be perfect for your team. On the early stages though, you'll get away with it for Omega Oldeus. He's the same as the original version. He inflicts higher damage, curse is easier to hit, and he only takes magic damage, so prepare for this. Palamicia is a water elemental boss that takes high damage when she's paralyzed. Although this is the best strategy, you can also beat her by using units that have stackable damage effect like Shadow and Demon Lord Rimuru for example. This boss will most likely freeze or faint you during battle. During early stages, use a strong DPS unit. As you get to higher floors, use stackable damage dealers and bring a cleansing unit. Or you can always do the old-fashioned strategy with Norn. Omega Palamicia though, you have to paralyze her before she can even take damage. Norn is still a good unit to use, so bring paralyzing equipments to help her out for a faster run. Relic Diaz Volta is a good equipment to use for this stage. The only thing that sucks is that it's a support equipment, but it's a 4-star, so it makes it a little bit better. Omega Palamicia will not stay stunned for a very long time and have a strong paralyzed resistance. Overall, she's still quite easy. Fosradus is a light elemental boss that you can nuke, and is an easier boss in magical mines. He is able to decrease arc damage. This boss will try to paralyze you throughout the fight, so end it fast. For harder stages, make sure you have a unit with equipments to mitigate paralyze. Moldora though, an earth elemental creature, has critical resistance and summons many minions that will protect him, so you'll have to poison or burn them in order to do high damage. Use units that can inflict burn like Rin, Ainz, and Shizu for example. He also unleashes strong attacks at 50% HP, so nuke him quickly. The Omega version though is the same as the original version, but he unleashes an additional attack around 20% of his HP. This boss's weakness is Hoka and Sunraku's true art. You're welcome. As mentioned earlier, last year's most hated boss Zeo Magnus, a water elemental monkey that terrorized us until this year. Unless you had Dead Master. Due to the lack of options with unit race, ethnicity, whatever, this guy would nuke units that are human, god, or demon race. So you need to bring units that are spirit, dragon, machine, and so on to even stand a chance. At 30% HP, he feints all the enemies and poisons them. Valdora is good for this boss. Use his super art before the 30% threshold and he'll be immune to the feint mechanic and defeat him. The Omega version is a little bit tougher. This monkey feints the highest HP unit and picks them up, then drains your archen. He also buffs himself as well, with his poison being stronger. I wonder how you'll do with evasion up units? Question mark? I always had issues with Wilkes, a light elemental boss, one of the tougher boss for sure. You'll need to blind this chick and use units that are not human to hit harder. Overtime Archon will not work here, so you'll want to bring units that have burst Archon. If these Archon vocabularies confuse you, go watch my Archon type video. I explain everything you need to know about it there. When she's at 30% threshold, she reduces your Archon and unleashes her attack. Here are 3 of the top units to use against Wilkes. Priestess that provides you with burst Archon, shield, healing, and blinding the boss. Diablo has blinding, dark and physical resistance, and Summer Sakura with burst of arts, dark and magic resistance, blinding capabilities, and also increasing damage to blind units. If the original version wasn't bad enough, here's the Omega version. She does everything like the first version but nukes you at 30% and decreases 200 Archon while increasing crit resistance. Just make sure you use burst support equipments and burst Archon units. You should be good. Ifrit is, of course, a fire elemental boss that is quite easy, as long as you know what you're doing. Fire Deed uses Hellfire effect and reflects a percentage of damage back to you. He also decreases units' HP upon arrival. Mizuki or Dragon Gyros is really good for this stage. If you want your support unit to get picked more often, put a lifesteal equipment like True Exceed, Goblin Slayer Dagger, or Splendor so people can use your unit and beat this guy. Trust me, you'll get picked more often. If you want to make sure you survive, have a healing equipment just in case. The Omega version does more damage upon arrival and Hellfire effect is stronger. He also negates magic damage, so you need to bring physical attackers. Raydis is an earth elemental boss and a shield killer. Make sure you have a healer, and if you aren't poisoned by her, the damage isn't strong. If you're poisoned, she hits like a truck. Bring units that inflict burn, that way you can increase your damage. The Omega version continuously inflicts damage to you. She will feint one of your units and try to nuke you. If you can nuke her fast enough, well, that's ideal. Code XTF Eraser, a non-elemental boss. And if you know what you're doing, this boss is easy. But before you beat the boss, it unleashes a nuke. Duran or Milim is good for this stage to reflect the damage. Or have a good equipment on your tank. Sandstone was used for me back in the days. I'm just saying. The Omega version is practically the same thing. I'll show you how to use Duran to reflect the boss. Just make sure you use his art first and then True Art at the end. I will make a part 2 of mine bosses when it comes out. So stick around. If you're new to the channel, I'm Master Rich. I help the Grand Summoners community with GS content, providing you guys with tips, information, and my take on Grand Summoners. I'm here to build a positive community where we can hang out and talk GS as well as help each other. And returning viewers, I make these type of content for you. So subscribe if you haven't already. If you're struggling with Dungeons of Trials or DOT, check this video out. It returns on a monthly basis and provides us with gems, LB stones, and other goodies. So make sure you know how to beat these stages. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share the video to people you think need it, and ring the notification bell so you don't miss out on future content. Stay grinding. Aim for the W, and you know what they call me.